Hi, my name is Trevor Perry, and today I'm going to be teaching you about the fastest growing sport in America. Now, if you thought I was talking about basketball, you'd be incorrect. But if you thought I was talking about soccer, you'd still be incorrect. If you thought I was talking about lacrosse, that is where you'd be correct. In 2016, lacrosse had 826,000 participants ranging from pre-K to the professional level. Lacrosse is played in two different teams at Penn State. One's Division I, and they went 8-6 last year, and the other is a club team, which plays other club teams all across the country. For those of you who don't know, lacrosse is played on turf or on grass. The field is 105 yards long and a little bit wider than a football field. The game starts with a face-off, is played with 11 players, and the goal of the game is to get the ball behind the goalie into a 6x4 net. The game is very fast-paced, played through the air, and oftentimes score totals can reach into the 40s. Now, since lacrosse is not the most popular sport, oftentimes, unless you were born in Baltimore, Long Island, New Jersey, you were probably never exposed to lacrosse until high school or college. Because of this lack of exposure, very few people know about the history of lacrosse. In Native American times, rival tribes would set up fields among their villages. Sometimes these fields were as long as 10 miles long. Now, they would play games on these fields during the Native American games, and sometimes these games had over 100,000 participants. The game involved almost no rolls, except you could not touch the ball with your hands. Back then, it was played with wooden balls and sticks made of deer hide, but today the sticks are very complex and the balls are very hard. Back then, tribesmen would paint their faces with charcoal to get excited for the games. These Native Americans thought that playing lacrosse would get their young ready for battle. They thought it toughened up their warriors. These games were also played for betting and religious purposes, and sometimes they became so intense that players would bet their wives, their children, or even their own lives on these games. French missionaries were the first non-natives to see this game in 1630, and they were the ones that dubbed it lacrosse, the name that is stuck till today. The game really began to take off in the 1800s when Native Americans demonstrated the game in Montreal. Because of this demonstration, the first lacrosse team was founded in 1856 by a Canadian doctor. Soon after the inception of this team, the ball was transformed to rubber, which is used today. In the 1860s, lacrosse was the primary sport of Canada, and it was actually the first national sport in the country. Soon after, a team was formed of Iroquois Indians, which traveled to Europe and all over England, and during their trip, they spread literature all across the country promoting the game. This promotion was so successful that Queen Victoria actually went to watch one game and said, quote, "This game is very pretty to watch." Now, this literature was also so successful that it got the game into the Summer Olympics in 1904, but sadly it was taken out in 1908. Maybe someday the game will be played again in the Olympics.